Good morning to one and all. Myself, Dr. S.K.Sarsamkar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Humanities and Sciences, Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. So, with this lecture, we are going to discuss about watershed development and management and water conservation, that is rainwater harvesting. So, what are the learning outcomes of this particular session? So, at the end of this session, students will be able to explain the concept, principle and advantages and disadvantages of watershed management. Also, various methods of rainwater harvesting with advantages and disadvantages. Watershed management. It is a repetitive process of integrated decision making regarding uses and modifications of land and water within a watershed. This process provides a chance to balance diverse goals and uses for environmental resources and to consider how their cumulative actions may affect long-term sustainability of these resources. So, principle of a watershed management. The natural resources within the watershed has to be stabilized, protected and kept free from pollution. The productivity of resource utilization has to be increased in an environmentally, economically and also institutionally sustainable manner. Human modifications of land and water bodies directly alter delivery of water, sediments and nutrients, fundamentally changing their water systems. People have to assign varying goals and values for the use of such water resources. Watershed management, a framework for integrated decision making where we try to access the nature and status of the watershed ecosystems, define short-term and long-term goals for the system, determine objectives and actions needed to achieve selected goals, assess both benefits and costs of each action, implement desired actions, evaluate the effects, actions and progress towards the goals, re-evaluate goals and objective as a part of an interactive process. As a form of ecosystem management, watershed management encompasses the entire watershed system from uplands and headwaters to floodplain wetlands and river channels. It focuses on the movement of energy and materials, example water, sediments, nutrients and toxins, downslope through the system. This flow of groundwater and wetland runoff defines the delivery patterns to specific streams, lakes, wetlands, largely shaping the nature of these aquatic systems. Advantages of watershed management. It reduces pollution. It helps to replenish the groundwater. It is maintained by the local peoples, therefore its benefits are distributed to the local people only. Mismanagement and overexploitation of these natural resources are reduced because the locals are controlling them. It helps to increase the production of crops. Disadvantages of watershed management. Building a watershed involves huge costs. The area required for building a watershed should have adequate rainfall. Therefore, the areas suitable for building a watershed are very limited. Watersheds requires a regular maintenance. Rainwater harvesting, RWH. Rainwater harvesting is the collection and storage of rainwater rather than allowing it to run off. If we see the today's scenario, it is very necessary for us to store the rainwater and reuse such a rainwater which is obtained. So we are collecting the rainwater from roofs like surfaces and redirected to tank, cistern, that is also known as kund, deep pit, that is well, shaft or boreholes, etc. A reservoir with percolation so that it seeps down and restores the groundwater. Rainwater harvesting essentially means collecting rainwater on the roofs of buildings and storing it underground for later use. So what is the need of this? It is needed to stop the decrease in groundwater level and to conserve surface water runoff during the rainy season. It recharges groundwater and arrests groundwater depletion. It also rises the declining water table and can help in increasing the water supply. It consists of the following components. Catchment. It is used to collect and store the captured rainwater. Conveyance system or conduit. It is used to transport harvested water from catchment to the recharge zone. Flush. It is used to flush out the first spell of rain. Filter. Used for filtering the collected rainwater and removing pollutants. Tanks and the recharge structures. Used to store the filtered water which is ready to use. This is a diagrammatic presentation collected from internet source. So what are the factors that are playing a vital role in the water harvesting? First, the quantum of runoff. The second, feature of the catchment. Third, impact on the environment. Fourth, availability of the technology. Fifth, the capacity of the storage tanks. Sixth, types of roofs, its slopes and materials. Seventh, the frequency, quantity and the quality of the rainfall. Eighth, the speed and ease with which the rainwater penetrates through the subsoil to recharge the groundwater. So, methods of rainwater harvesting. There are two different methods. The first one is traditional method of rainwater harvesting and the second one is a modern method of rainwater harvesting. First, traditional method for rainwater harvesting. It is still used in rural areas, was done in surface storage, lakes, ponds, tanks, temple tanks, etc. In urban areas, due to shrinking of open spaces, it is used. Rainwater will have to necessarily be harvested as groundwater, hence harvesting in such a places will depend very much on the nature of the soil, wise clay, sandy, etc. Second, modern methods of rainwater harvesting. These are categorized as first, artificial recharging and the second, rainwater harvesting. First, artificial recharging. It consists of absorption pit method, absorption well method, well cum bore method, recharge trench cum injection well. Rainwater harvesting, percolation pit method, bore well with settlement tank, open well method with filter bed sump, and percolation pit with bore method. So what are the advantages of rainwater harvesting? The benefits of rainwater harvesting systems are given below. First one, less cost. It costs less, helps in reducing the water bill, it decreases the demand for water, it reduces the need for imported water. Fifth, it promotes both water and energy conservation. Sixth, improves the quality and quantity of groundwater. Seventh, it does not require a filtration system for landscape irrigation. Eighth, this technology is relatively simple, easy to install and operate. Ninth, it reduces soil erosion, storm water runoff, flooding and pollution of surface water with fertilizers, pesticides, metals and other sediments. It is an excellent source of water for landscape irrigation with no chemicals, dissolved salts and free chemicals or minerals. So these are some disadvantages of rainwater harvesting. The first disadvantage is unpredictable rainfall. Second, unavailability of the proper storage systems. Third, regular maintenance is very much required. It requires some technical skills for installation. Limited and no rainfall can limit the supply of rainwater. If not installed correctly, it may attract mosquitoes and other waterborne diseases. One of the significant drawback is storage limitation. So these are the references for this particular lecture preparation. Thank you.